What's up everybody, Kinetic here and welcome back to Diablo 3. I hope that you guys are enjoying these videos. I realize that Diablo 3 isn't the most popular game out there, nor is it the most popular ARPG game out there, even though I think that it should be, but that's just my personal opinion. Some people ask me from time to time, like, what's your favorite thing about Diablo? What makes it better of an ARPG compared to other games, like, for example, Path of Exile, or what makes it better than Grim Dawn and stuff like that? Usually, for me, I think it comes down to three things. It comes down to the characters, the story, and the classes. Those three things in particular I really enjoy. I'm really into the lore of the game. I've read all the books. For example, Sin War trilogy is really good. The Order is a book that I recently read that was really good and got me really interested in wanting to play a monk character, because there's a monk that travels along with Deckard Cain in the story, and he's such a badass. I love the monk's role in the story. And so as we were kind of approaching this patch, I was thinking to myself, wow, I really need to catch up with Monk, because I've never actually really played Monk, sad to say. I just kind of, like, I don't know, I focus more on Demon Hunter, Barbarian, and Witch Doctor, but for the last month now I've been farming my ass off trying to get all of the set pieces, all of the accessories needed, fist weapons and stuff like that, and I'm still not quite there, particularly with the seven-sided strike. I'm missing one of the fist weapons, unfortunately, but for the most part, I've got all of the major, most popular builds, I suppose, that are kind of going around right now for speed farming and for Greater Rift. So I'm going to cover those, and of course I'm going to give my impressions on which ones I think are good for what and stuff like that. But first, let's do our usual starting point here. We're going to take a look at the leaderboards. Now, unfortunately, from what I've seen from the leaderboards, the monk is really struggling to have a wide range of diversity in terms of builds that are doing really well and competing for the top ladders, especially compared to the last three classes that I covered, Barbarian, Demon Hunter, and Witch Doctor, which have at least 3 different sets and multiple versions of the builds, like really hardcore competing with each other for the top 10, even, you know, top 3 slots. It's crazy. But for the monk, it's really just coming down to the crippling wave build, which is a shame. Like, within the top 50, you'll be pressed to find another build other than the crippling wave build. I've seen the Legacy of Nightmares Lashing Tail Kick build like somewhere in the top 50, but it's really dominated by this crippling wave build, and that's a shame, because the other builds, the Lashing Tail Kick, for example, whether it's Legacy or normal, and then there's the seven-sided strike with the Oleana set, which are amazing builds as well and really fun to play, but are nowhere near, like, or really don't have any kind of presence when it comes to Greater Rifts. Even in Season, it's the exact same build, the exact same pieces. I mean, almost all the same skills and everything. So that's something that, okay, here we go. There's finally a Lashing Tail Kick. That's the one probably that we will find here. The rest of these are going to be the rest of these are going to be crippling waves. So I would really like to see Blizzard come up with some way to balance out the other the other builds for this class, because, like I said, the seven-sided strike, for example, and the Lashing Tail Kick are really fun builds to play. When it comes to speed farming, I think hands down my favorite build for the monk is got to be the seven-sided strike. It largely has to do with the simplicity of it. I mean, all of these builds take advantage of Dashing Strike, but it's one of those builds that I can just play hours and hours and hours of, and kind of, you know, I have to pay attention to a certain point, but I could also be like messing around on a second monitor or something like that while I'm farming, or doing bounties or something like that, farming Death's Breast, whatever it is. And it's a really simple combination of skills. It can feel kind of a bit glass canny at times, but it's still, like, really effective and has great mobility. That's a big part of it, not just because of the Dashing Strike, but because simply of the quickness of how fast Epiphany will come off of cooldown. And so all you're doing is you're just dashing around, you're pulling everything in with the Cyclone, right, and the Implosion Rune, and then hit him with a few of your generators, and then 7-sided strike. Everything freaking just explodes into pieces. It's awesome, and it's even more fun too if you go with Boon of the Hoarder gem, right, for the gold and your gold wrap belt. Then it's like they had gold for blood when they explode. It's just all over the place. It's fantastic. For Greater Rifts, though, unfortunately I haven't seen anybody running the 7-sided strike. I mean, they'll probably use the build as a stepping stone to getting, like, the crippling wave pieces, but other than that, it's like nowhere to be found in the Greater Rifts. So for Greater Rifts, I mean, like we saw, the Legacy of Nightmares is the most popular Lashing Tail Kick version of that build. That's not the one that I run. I run the normal one with the set, the normal set, not the no set set. And it's great fun, and I really feel like it could also be converted very easily just by replacing one of the skills, like for example the agility run mantra. You know, go with, again, Cyclone and Implosion there, and then you have a nice way of drawing in all of the enemies into a nice little pile, and then Lashing Tail Kick, and just gonna wipe them out. The killing speed of this build is insane, like, especially against the Greater Rift bosses. I mean, the attack speed, the damage output, it's just brutal as hell to see this this monk start spinning around and just watching the health bars just disappear on the Rift Guardian. It's pretty impressive. Like we saw with the ladders, though, the Crippling Wave build, whether it's normal or it's seasoned, is completely dominating right now the ladders. And I think that's for a good reason. For one, you don't have to mine so much, so many different things. Like, for example, the Lashing Tail, you've got the sweeping stacks, which is kind of a pain in the ass. It's like Takeoff all over again. It does have its issues with Spirit. You'll be burning through your Spirit very quickly, but that's really the only thing you have to be kind of concerned about, and that's an easy fix, I feel like. But probably what I've observed is the most powerful part, besides the damage of the build, is the defense. Once you start like slamming away with your generators, the bracers allow you to have really good defense against pretty much anything. It feels like I could probably stand in several arcane beams and it would just like tickle me a little bit. I mean, of course, that's going to depend on how much higher you crank up the Torment or how much higher you crank up the Greater Rifts, but it's much tankier, it feels like to me. And that pretty much wraps it up for the state of the game of monks in Diablo 3. The Crippling Wave build is absolutely dominating. It's got great mobility, great defense, great offense all around. It's one of the most powerful builds probably in the game for solo players. Of course, all of these builds and all of these videos that I'm making is centered around solo play. If you're looking for multiplayer builds, there are some other builds for that, and you guys can you know, check those out probably at Diablo Fans or Icy Veins or something like that. But I won't be covering multiplayer, unfortunately, with these videos. Perhaps maybe in a future patch, who knows? But yeah, like I said earlier, and I hope you guys are enjoying these Diablo 3 videos. I hope that you enjoyed my first coverage of monk builds, my very first time. I've been grinding pretty good for the last month to get, like I said, the sets and the pieces and stuff like that, and it's great fun. There's no doubt in my mind. It's become clear why monk is one of the most powerful, one of the most popular classes in Diablo 3, and I'm looking forward to playing them more. I'm looking forward to seeing them getting buffed for their other sets and builds, to see some better diversity on the Greater Rift ladder, season and non-season. That would be really, really nice to see for this class. But yeah, I want to know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Click the like button to support Diablo 3 here on the channel, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next video. Thanks again for watching. This is Kinetic, and I'll see you next time.